My quick, non-spoiler review of Fantastic Four First Step. What an amazing summer for superhero movies, coming straight from Superman to this, because they were both great and they have a surprising amount in common, from being a standalone new universe to being extremely fast-paced, skipping the origin, throwing us straight into the story. They're both very comic booky and both focusing on bringing the traditional characters to life in a comic accurate way. Because like Superman, one of the strongest elements is the cast. They do a great job bringing Marvel's first family to life. I think we all knew that Sue Storm and The Thing were going to be great castings. The Human Torch has a lot more to do than the trailers let on, but the biggest standout was surprisingly Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, who I was very apprehensive about going in, but he works in this movie. He's not 100% comic accurate Reed Richards, but for a Reed in this stylized 60s setting, he works perfectly and he balances intellect, the family man, the arrogant, the burden side of Mr. Fantastic extremely well. We have had some good interpretation of the individual characters before, but really it's the chemistry and the group dynamic that sets this interpretation apart from the past versions. They really do feel like a family here. Galactus is an incredibly hard character to pull off. He's a giant man who eats planets. How do you make that a relatable villain? How do you fight that? Well, the answer that they use in this movie is by inevitable impending doom. Even when he's not on screen, you feel his presence and he is truly scary. The new Silver Surfer is good. There are plot reasons for why they're using the female version to mirror Sue's arc and to give Johnny more to do, and hopefully it means we will get Norrin Radd in the main MCU eventually. I would like to have seen a bit more from her, and it does tread on ground that we've kind of seen before, but the action sequences with her were amazing, and overall the action here is very good. There's a scene in space which isn't prominent in the marketing. It's easily the standout action moment from the film, and that is bolstered by the fact that this movie looks phenomenal. Both the practical 60s set design and the visual effects look great. This is truly one of the best looking MCU films we've had, because everything is done with a specific style in mind rather than CGIing it just for the sake of it. And even when the CGI isn't that good, you can kind of forgive it a bit more because at least it's stylized. Also, the slower scenes of people just talking is equally as interesting as the action beats. Speaking of standouts in the MCU, this is easily one of the best musical scores, with its only real competition being the themes in Endgame. And it's not just that main theme that you've heard in the trailers, all of it is great consistently. There's a lot of kind of realistic feeling science that the writers clearly put thought into that sits behind all of the work that Reed is doing, and it works a lot better than just nanotech magic mumbo jumbo. So it grounds the movie in reality, which I really appreciated. The movie is extremely fast paced, and for the most part it worked, but there could have been 10 minutes extra just to give a bit more screen time to each member of the cast equally. You can tell some things were cut, especially from the start of the film, and they could have made the passage of time a bit more clearer, because some of the fast-paced editing really made that feel messy. Also, the final resolution to the film was slightly underwhelming. It felt a bit cheap and a bit too easy. I think it worked thematically. It was kind of set up, but I don't think it's the most satisfying conclusion. But honestly, that's quite a minor nitpick. I absolutely enjoyed this movie, even more than Thunderbolts, and yes, even more than Superman, and both of those movies were great. I think this might be my favorite first entry for any debut solo film in the MCU yet.